got him. Yeah, so that's the little animation that plays. And it takes forever, so you can press the X button to just skip past that shit, so... That's what I'd recommend.
Shit.
Rick sucks at this. He does not how to play the keyboard. Look up the sheet music online and play it that way.
I'm not very good at... I certainly can't read sheet music and then play it. To like learn little things, like little jingles from like... To learn little jingles, I have to like read the sheet music, then do a little bit, then read the sheet music, and then do a little bit, and then practice up. And even then, I can only play like one hand at a time. But I'm not gonna go take fucking like lessons or some shit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For me, this is just a toy that I play with sometime. Yamaha.
So what's weird is that this game supports DualShock, so you can play it with an analog stick like I am right now, and it has vibration, which I always fucking turn off.
Keep talking.
Can you turn it down a little bit? A little more.
Alright.
Alright. So...
I thought I was turning it down. I was turning it up.
Yeah, that was really funny. Right.
I agree.
So the thing is that the game, even though the game uses the left stick for movement, it doesn't use the right stick for the camera. So you still have to use the shoulder buttons, which is weird, because it's just like, I have both of the sticks available, why can't I use the other one for the camera? I mean, it's not like the system can't do it. Mega Man Legends 2 has that feature. Speaking of which, I've been playing that game, and it's fantastic. That was brilliant. Can you play some Starbomb music for us, Eric?
Dude, I've told you about how I felt about Starbomb. I talked about that on the show before, right?
Maybe you have.
That leads perfectly into the topic that I was going to talk about. Alright, Yamaha. Alright. Sake Adi Naze-san. Get it? Because his name is Yamaha. And it's a Japanese company. But I pretend he's my Japanese friend.
Oh, I didn't know Yamaha was male.
Well, it's the name of the company.
Well, yeah, I know, but I felt that you were personalizing this keyboard.
Yeah, he's my good friend. Oh, you thought it was a she?
Yeah, I thought Yamaha was a she.
She can be a she. She can be gender fluid.
just be careful what you do with that, okay?
Yeah. There's very select people who get as up in arms as you about that stuff.
I'm just try to be respectful about it.
Yes.
And you were. So
I understand. I understand. But alright, that goes perfect. Alright, Starbomb. I've never liked Starbomb, even though I liked everybody in it. Like, okay, for the most part, it's Aaron, Michael's best friend, Aaron Hansen. Michael doesn't hate him at all. Michael doesn't have pictures of him with big red X's over his eyes. And he doesn't have plans to assassinate him or anything in his room. Michael loves Aaron Hansen. It's his favorite person in the world. His favorite series by Aaron is those video game reviews that Michael really likes. What are they called?
Sequelitis, I think.
Don't say you think. You know exactly what they are, you little shit.
Well, I think. Well, you're pretending that you don't know what they are.
I don't. I actually couldn't remember the name, and you did.
Oh my god.
All right, but Michael hates Aaron. Go to Twitter. Go tell Aaron Hansen that. Just.
Sounds like a fantastic
say that Caesar.
idea.
Anyway, I'm getting very distracted. I liked both sort of. Like, I like everybody involved in Game Grumps. Like, I like Aaron. I think he's really, really funny. I like Danny. I think he's really musically talented and very interesting. And even when Game Grumps made the switch from John to Danny, and I was always like, I never had a problem with Danny. I always thought he was interesting. And then Brian, or Ninja Brian, as he's better known, who was the reason Aaron met Danny was because Danny was in the band Ninja Sex Party, which is sort of like a comedy, sort of like inspired by like 80s rock type. And I think Ninja Sex Party can be pretty funny, especially their newer stuff. And so Starbomb is Aaron, Danny, and Brian. And I like all those people. I think they're all very talented. But I don't like Starbomb. Both musically and comedically. I've never liked a song by them. It's like,
damn, scathing Yelp review.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I can sit here and pretend like my opinion matters, but I wonder if anybody else feels the same way. I just feel like, they're the type that constantly make fun of shitty video game parody type stuff, and it's like, oh, Mario wants to fuck Peach. Oh, hey.
Just a kiss, why not a blowjob?
Yeah, it's like, that's the kind of stuff that they make fun of all the time, I feel like. And then all of a sudden they make like high production songs that are based off of like jokes that don't really hold a lot of water. Anyway, that's just how I feel about it. But more recently, I don't know what's happened to the Game Grumps, dude. Like I stopped watching them because I felt like Aaron was starting to get like really grumpy. I didn't care about it. He was always like, oh, has it been 10 minutes yet? I'm fucking done with this shit. Danny was never like that. He was still into it.
I mean, like, isn't Danny not even really a gamer?
He's always really liked video games, but he's always been very casual. Unlike us, like, freaks. Most of the freaks on I mean, let's be honest. Most people who are watching this are like really into video games, whereas he's always just he's like 30 something, and he's always just played video games and really liked them, but he's never been that much of a critical thinker, or he's not like, if it's a bad game, he doesn't care. He just, wants to have a good time. But as a result, Aaron will say his opinions, his often unfounded opinions on video games, and Danny will just agree with them because, it's a funny, silly show, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of got annoying. That's when I sort of stopped watching it. Once they started playing Sonic Boom and stuff and just sitting there roasting it the whole time, which I feel like I'm a total hypocrite for saying that, because when that's all we do for Hero's Tale and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it didn't start out that way. It was kind of like those recording errors, like kind of, and then the game just sort of got worse and worse as you went along.
I don't know. I know I'm probably being hypocritical in a sense, but I really didn't like. That's when I sort of stopped watching them, once they started playing Sonic Boom, and it's just like, all right, fucking 80 some episodes of Sonic Boom. Like when they're playing like Fire Red and stuff, and like just having a good time and making jokes or whatever, and they're not just like totally sitting there being like, when's the next 10 minutes done? All we're gonna do is make fun of the game. So I stopped watching them, but I was sort of like, I was fine with it a little bit, because I was like, hey, they're getting more subscribers, which means they're making more people's days, and at the end of the day, I think that's what matters.
Yeah.
But then recently, like they did like
Schneider.
Yeah, there was the episode with Rob and Patricia Snyder, when Rob Schneider makes shit. Nobody likes Rob Schneider. Nobody. And he's like making like Real Rob, and they like advertise it in the description and stuff, talking about Real Rob, which is just Louis. It's just the show Louis, except with Rob Schneider, who nobody likes and nobody thinks is funny. I'm sorry. I can't think of one. Like, I've never met a person who's like, I think Rob Schneider's funny. Everybody thinks he's just an Adam Sandler coattail writer, which he is.
Coattail writer.
Yeah. He is. That's what he does. He's one of those guys who just is in all the Adam Sandler's movies and they have a bunch of product placement and shit.
But Eric, he was in Judge Dredd as the annoying guy.
Who gives a shit? Like that's like Rob Schneider. Alright, that's just like one video or whatever, right? But I don't know. It feels like. And then I saw that thing where they were on like the news. There was like a 10:30 news segment where it was a bunch of people who like. Obviously, they work for the news. To them, all they know is like TV as like a mode of media. But they're like, they had this one guy go investigate, go meet up with the Game Grumps, go to Game Grumps headquarters, and find out this new form of media, this new form of entertainment, which has been around for like.
Some people are just really behind the times.
I know, exactly. And then he's using like a bunch of like flowery language that makes you want to like put your fist through the TV. He's like, what I believe it was Millennium Media Moguls are generating billions of clicks to get, and they're making money, they're making cash. And then of course the segment ends and he's like, so maybe instead of putting down the controller, you should, and he's like using a bunch of like flowery stupid language like that makes you want to like put your fist through the screen. He's just like, YouTubers they call them or something like that.
Oh,
it's like, this shit has been around forever.
Where have you been?
I mean, it's clearly not for us, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's clearly for like old people who like don't understand it,
who still watch TV.
Yeah, exactly.
These dog guys are really annoying for the like I remember Eric saying something back in Hero's Tale about how Spyro enemies pose like no threat. No threat! The enemies in this game can be very aggressive, particularly towards the end. Certainly more so than most of the other games in the series. And these dogs are a pretty good example. I mean, basically what you gotta do is you gotta flame them once and then you gotta jump and flame them because they're gonna try to squash you.
Squash.
Yeah, they try to land on top of you, and yeah, few hits and you're dead, and there's no fodder at this point in the stage. So,
how many Spyro games would you say have threatening enemies? Because it feels like the majority of them aren't really. I mean, Enter the Dragonfly.
Enter the Dragonfly and Hero's Tower are kind of the odd ones out, honestly.
Okay, and those are the ones that I've actually sat down and watched.
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've played like I think I played Season of Ice,
Season of Flame, and Attack of the Rhinox.
I know that those are the GBA games, so I think that's the only one I played. I played the one where you start with Ice Breath, so I think that's Season of Flame actually. Yeah,
that's the second one in the Game Boy Advance.
Okay, but I remember liking that one. I can see why people wouldn't. The isometric sort of like weird.
Yeah.
But I remember liking it.
I mean, I played a little bit of them, and honestly, I think they're pretty decent games. They translate pretty much everything from these games over as well as they possibly could.
This is a boss, by the way. I was baffled.
This is Toasty. Toasty!
That's the perfect...
The dogs are more threatening than he is. Oh no! I'm naked!
Trust me. Trust me, if you can beat this, you can beat Dark Souls, Michael. Trust me. Dark Souls... Okay, so when is Spyro coming out? After you guys finish Mega Man or whatever?
Yes.
How much Mega Man is left? I mean...
we're about halfway through, I'd say.
Okay, I suppose it doesn't really matter. And then, after Paper Mario... So this won't be out for a while, so... Well, I don't know which one will finish up, but after Paper Mario, we're playing Dark Souls. And then, after Toy Story 2, we're playing the best series. It's the best series we've ever done. It is.
Eric, when are we going to do Secret Rings?
Oh, that's right. I will do a Secret
This is actually only one of...
You know, the funny thing is, I feel like Secret Rings at first is going to be really fun. Even as frustrating as it might be, I feel like it'd be fun for me to play. But once it gets hard, I'm just going to get really angry. I can smell it.
Okay, so this is what we're collecting shit for. These are the balloonists. And essentially, in order to keep going there are 5 Dragon Worlds, and then there's Nasty's World. In order to get to Nasty's World, we have to go through all the other Dragon Worlds. And to get between the worlds, you have to basically... the balloonist will request that you collect a certain amount of a certain type of item, that being dragons, gems, or dragon eggs. And once you retrieve that number, they will allow you to go to the next area. So, I don't know, like the easier thing to do is to just collect everything in the level and then you'll always have enough. But if you're not the completionist type, you should just go visit them the moment you get to a new world, so... Yeah. I mean, so like...
I agree explicitly. Complacently.
But we also have to remember, Eric, that this isn't the only Spyro game we'll be playing this summer.
That's true. We gotta play the next Spyro game. So that's when I don't know when Secret Rings are gonna fail. Like,
And if we're gonna do both Galaxy games, it's gonna be a long summer.
Are we doing both Galaxy games? I thought we were only gonna do the one.
You suggested the idea.
No, I asked you if we were going to. I mean, I guess. Yeah, what do you want to see, people? Come on.
Oh, Eric, we should do another poll.
No,
because that works so well.
That clearly doesn't fucking work. Because alright, think about it. So, obviously, there are a lot of people who watch the very first episode. That's always how all Let's Plays work, right? But then, the people that you actually care about want to please are like the up to 20 people who watch consistently. You know what I mean? So, it's those people you want. But when you put a poll on Twitter, it's a bunch of people who aren't even going to watch it.
That's true.
So the people who are purposely trying to tie your polls are mostly people who aren't even gonna fucking watch it anyway. They just they're only following you because, you know, they watch Exo Paradigm Gamer stuff.
Yeah, my reviews are shite.
What? You work really hard on your reviews.
You know, I'm realizing how much I really just don't like the stuff I made recently. Like, even with the one I just published today, like, there are a couple parts where I'm just like...
Everybody should go watch Michael's Klonoa 2 review.
There were a couple parts where I was just like, you know... Should I have put this in here?
That's how the best content creators always feel about their content, though, I feel.
And it's just like, no matter how much time I spend on something, people always find something to complain about, and it's just... I don't read comments anymore because I find it more discouraging than encouraging.
Then... That means you've made it to the point, because Frank, that happens with all channels.
Yeah, I know.
What channel do you go on where there's not some you know, a decent amount of people putting it down? And the answer is very unknown channels, such as Game Mavericks.
Yeah. I mean, like, when I sit down and do a Let's Play like I am now, like, if I get a little factoid wrong, I could just say, like, I believe that's what it is, and then just move on. Then if someone corrects me, it's just like, oh, thanks for correcting me. But when it's a review...
Codebox keeps you on the up and up on Paper Mario. By the way, I was editing a part of Paper Mario. You might have to address this. Because you were fighting the Lantern guy, right?
Yeah.
This stuff come out a long time ago, so it won't matter as much. But you're fighting the Lantern guy, and you were charging your jump, your like jump attacks, right? And then once you used bow to like light up the room so that you could hit him, you jumped and hit his lantern instead of him.
Yeah, that was an accident.
After charging up twice. And I was like, really oh no, Michael.
I was really...
Codebox is gonna let India. Codebox seems like a really nice dude.
Yeah.
He just knows a lot about that game and wants you to know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally understand that. Like, that's why a lot of people don't make Dark Souls content. Or like when they try to like really...
Actually, if you use the Flargus spell, then the...
Yeah, exactly. There's because that game, there's like so much to learn about it. Like, there's like so many different like interweaving mechanics that like it's like you have to play so much of it to know everything about it. Because it's that way, people who do go out of their way to learn all that stuff, you know, you get that feeling. You want to comment and say, oh, you can do this, just more, not as much to like give them actual advice, but more to show off that the fact that you know it. And I totally understand that. Like, I get where they're coming from, but it's always annoying for the person who's making the content. And sometimes it's malicious too, which is there. Yeah. I know that there were a lot of people who made, like, back when Dark Souls 1 was off, or in Dark Souls 2, they'd make PvP type content, and people would just rail into them constantly, being like, "You're an idiot, you're terrible." And there are a lot of people who wouldn't. I know Total Biscuit won't touch the series at all because he says that all the fanboys are constantly like, you can't criticize it because this, and this, and this, and this. Which you wouldn't know unless you dumped a bunch of hours in the game, which he doesn't have the time to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's because they know about the game and want to show that off a little bit. By the way, I'm not trying to be mean to Codebox or anything.
By the
like
way,
I said, I totally get it. But I do think that's where it's coming from. And I think
Codebox, you're a cool guy.
And I think Michael actually likes it too, a little bit.
Yeah, I do learn some pretty
You've
interesting stuff
learned
about
a lot.
that game.
You've learned a lot
I
about
mean, I played it so many times, and there's so many things I've never even tried to experiment with. Like
he seems like he knew. Like he's like, oh yeah, you can easily take on Anti-Guy. You gotta get these items and use them in this order. And it's like, oh, that's a man who knows how to power game Paper Mario. And like some of it's interesting. It's when it's malicious that it's like, ugh.
But we have. I'm thinking of one comment in particular.
Watch our. See, that's how it works. Is there can be like 100 positive comments, but it only takes one bad comment to really get in your brain and mess with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty thin-skinned, honestly, when it comes to this shit, which is why after a while I just stopped reading most of my comments.
That's how most people either stop reading the comments or they grow thick skin. Usually both. I mean, you kind of have to.
I mean, like, I read comments right after I release something, because that usually...
Just in case that there's, like, some audio problems or something like that?
Not really. It's more like the people who will watch it, like, right when it comes out, or, like, people who actually want to see me succeed, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, if they...
It's once there's, like, people who casually, like, who aren't subscribers who come in and say, I don't like this guy because this, and this, and then you're like, oh...
I mean, like, for example, I got this one comment on my Donkey Kong Land trilogy review, where I reviewed all 3 games, and, well, that's what this guy thought. Like, he was telling me, like,
the venom drips. I'm pretty sure there's a hole in the couch now.
I can't even remember exactly what he said, but it was... I mean, like, I mentioned, like, right at the beginning of the video that I decided I wasn't going to do the Donkey Kong Country GBC version, the one in Game Boy Color, because at that point I was Donkey Konged out and I wanted to move on. And later in the video, I also reviewed the Game Boy Color version of Donkey Kong Land, and said that version only came out in Japan. And then I got this giant comment calling me an idiot and saying that I didn't do my research from this guy saying that, Donkey Kong Land was released in Donkey Kong Land 3 was released in North America, and Donkey Kong Country wasn't only on the GBC, and it's just like, that wasn't even close to what I said. And so, like,
So, he not only was he was mad and wrong.
Exactly.
But it's not like you can do anything about it, really.
So I posted,
you look like just as much of an asshole if you respond, which apparently did.
I did respond because it was just like, that really pissed me off, and I was really annoyed by it. And so I just said, no, this is actually what I said, and you were clearly misinterpreted me or weren't listening carefully enough.
Just ignore shit like that.
And then he sort of doubled down and said, well, no. Then he found some new wrong facts to get me. See,
that's why you just want to let that shit go.
And then like, I corrected him again, saying no, that the GBC version of Donkey Kong Land was only released in Donkey Kong Land 3 was only released in Japan. The black and white Game Boy version, I had to be like very specific with the dates and
that's
like,
what I'm
every
saying.
Version.
With that kind of stuff, like,
and then he still didn't take the hint that he was fucking wrong. And then he posted another one, and then like 2 hours later, I get another comment saying like, apparently I was wrong. It was like a very high-horsed sort of like, well, I stand corrected sort of dealio, you know? And then, so it's just like, even when I win, he wins, you know?
Yeah.
It's like Donald Trump.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you don't respond to that.